My mom sat me down one evening looking serious, almost sad. She said, "We can only afford one ticket, and your sister will go." For a moment I believed her. I actually felt a little guilty, thinking maybe things were really that tight. I told myself it was fine, that I shouldn't make things harder for anyone. But everything changed a few days later. I opened my phone, and there it was. Picture after picture of my sister smiling at a luxury beach resort. Expensive food, spa treatments, boat rides, even a massive hotel suite that easily fit more than one person. My heart dropped. It wasn't just a simple lie. It was a full plan, made behind my back. They didn't only afford one ticket. They simply didn't want me there. And as I kept scrolling, the truth hit harder and harder. The matching outfits, the fancy dinners, the comments like, "Best family trip ever." Family, without me. At that moment something inside me changed. I stopped feeling sad and I started feeling clear. Very clear. Because when they came back acting like nothing happened, I did something they never saw coming. And it changed everything. Growing up, I was always the quiet one in the family. The responsible one. The child who didn't cause trouble, didn't raise their voice, and tried to keep everything peaceful. And maybe that was the problem, because being quiet made me invisible. My sister, on the other hand, was the golden child. She was younger, louder, and honestly a bit spoiled. But somehow, every mistake she made turned into a joke. Every tantrum became "she's just tired." And every wish she had, magically came true. While she got new clothes every few months, I wore hand-me-downs. When she wanted something expensive, my parents always found a way. But when I asked for anything, even something small, I was told to be mature, or understand the situation. I did most of the chores without being asked. Cleaning, helping with homework, keeping peace when my sister argued with everyone. No one thanked me. No one noticed. I kept the resentment buried. I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself that being responsible meant being patient. But deep down it hurt. And that hurt kept growing. Long before the vacation incident ever happened. It all started on a quiet Sunday morning. My parents were sitting at the dining table whispering excitedly. I walked in and Mom looked up with a big smile. She said, "We're thinking about taking a small family vacation. Just a few days to relax." For the first time in a long while I felt something warm inside me. Hope. A family trip sounded amazing. Felt like maybe finally things were changing. Maybe this time I would be included the same way my sister always was. Dad talked about how they had been saving for months. Mom said we all needed a break. My sister pretended to be surprised, but the way she smirked told me she already knew everything. I tried to hide my excitement, but honestly, I was already imagining the beach, the hotel room, the photos we'd take together. Just a normal family moment, something I rarely got. But then Mom mentioned budget issues, saying that prices were higher than expected. She kept repeating that they were still figuring things out. Her voice sounded unsure, almost uncomfortable. I didn't think much of it at the time. I didn't know this vacation announcement was the beginning of something much bigger and much more painful. A few days after the vacation announcement, Mom called me into her room. Her voice was soft, almost too soft, like she was preparing me for something. She sat on the bed, took a deep breath, and said, "Listen, we can only afford one ticket." I froze. I didn't understand at first. One ticket? For a family vacation? Before I could ask anything, she added, "Your sister has been really stressed. She needs this break more than you. You're strong. You'll understand." There it was again. The same excuse they always used on me. "You're mature. You'll understand. You don't need as much." I felt my stomach twist. I wanted to ask why they didn't tell me earlier. Why they announced a vacation like it was for all of us. Why they looked happy discussing it if it wasn't meant for me at all. But the words didn't come out. I just nodded. I told her it was fine. I pretended I wasn't hurt. Inside though, something cracked. Dad barely looked at me when he confirmed it, saying, "Maybe next time." My sister didn't even pretend, she was smiling. And that was the moment I realized this wasn't about money. It was a big couple of days after they left for the one-ticket vacation. I was sitting in my room when I heard my sister's phone buzzing on the table. She had forgotten to take it with her. A call came in and her friend's name flashed on the screen. I didn't answer, but the voicemail played automatically. That voicemail changed everything. Her friend said, laughing, I still can't believe your whole family is going to that luxury resort. You're so lucky. 3 tickets. That must have cost a lot. 3 tickets. Not one. I felt my heartbeat in my ears. I opened her phone gallery, she rarely put a lock on it, and saw screenshots of their vacation plans dated weeks earlier. Hotel booking for 3 people. Spa package for 3. Dinner reservations for 3. All paid in advance. My hands were shaking. They didn't just choose my sister over me. They planned the entire trip with the clear intention of leaving me behind. No budget issue. No, we only have money for 1 ticket. Just a decision. A decision that I didn't deserve to be part of the family vacation. At that moment, the hurt turned into something else. Clarity. Cold, sharp clarity. Ut priorities. The house felt painfully quiet the day they left. No goodbye hugs, no last-minute check-ins, just a quick, take care of the house, before the door shut. I stood there staring at the empty hallway, wondering how a family could leave someone so easily. By evening, the silence felt heavier. I tried to distract myself with chores, homework, anything. But every time I picked up my phone, there was something new to remind me of what I was missing. My sister's social media exploded with posts. Her lying on a beach chair. Her eating huge desserts. Her wearing matching outfits with mom. Dad commenting, "So proud of my girls." My girls. As if I wasn't one of them. Then came the videos, spa sessions, boat rides, fancy dinners. All the things I'd asked to do for years only to be told, too expensive, or, maybe one day. I barely slept that week. Every photo felt like a punch. Every caption felt like a reminder that I didn't belong. But the worst part wasn't the loneliness. It was realizing they never once texted to check on me. Not even a simple, "How are you?" That's when the sadness slowly turned into something stronger. Resolve. When they finally walked through the door, I expected something. A hug. A question. An apology. Anything that showed they remembered I existed. But Mom's first words were, "Did you keep the house clean?" No, "How were you?" No, "Did you eat?" Just instructions, as if I were a housekeeper waiting for them to return. My sister pushed past me, dragging her bright shopping bags into the living room. She dumped them on the table and proudly showed off everything she bought. Designer sunglasses, new clothes, expensive souvenirs. She didn't even look in my direction. Dad stretched, yawned, and said casually, "It was nice. Maybe next time you can come." He said it like I had chosen to stay behind. Like I wasn't heartbroken the entire week. They sat together, laughing about the trip, sharing inside jokes from restaurants and beaches I never got to see. Every detail felt like salt in a wound. And then the final sting. They handed out small gifts to each other. Little souvenirs they picked out with thought and care. But none for me. Not even a cheap keychain. In that moment, something inside me went quiet. Completely quiet. They thought I would just accept it. But they had no idea what was coming next. That night, after everyone went to bed, I sat alone at the dining table. I wasn't crying anymore. I wasn't angry. I felt steady. If they were going to treat me like an outsider, then I needed to stop acting like everything was fine. And it began with understanding exactly what they'd done. I opened the family computer. Something no one expected me to touch. Most things were password-free because my parents never thought I cared enough to look. But this time I did. I went through folders, emails, bank statements, and there it was. The vacation charges. Every payment. Every receipt. Every detail. But something else caught my eye. Transactions from an account that was supposed to be for both me and my sister. Savings for our education. Money gifted by relatives for our future. They had used my half to pay for the trip. My breath caught, but strangely I didn't panic. I saved everything. Screenshots, copies, dates. Proof. Solid proof. The next morning I calmly asked to talk. When we sat down, I slid the printed pages across the table. Their faces changed instantly. Fear. Guilt. And that was the moment I knew. I finally had control. The room went silent the moment they saw the papers. Mom's smile faded first. Dad's eyebrows tightened. My sister looked confused, then annoyed, like I was ruining her morning. Dad cleared his throat and said, "Where did you get this?" I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I simply said, "It's all from the family computer. You used the savings account meant for both of us." Mom tried to speak quickly, her words stumbling over each other. We were going to replace it later. But the dates told a different story. They had taken the money months ago, long before any budget issues. My sister finally understood what was happening. She muttered, "It wasn't my idea," as if that made everything better. I told them the truth. I wasn't angry about missing the trip anymore. I was angry because they chose to erase me from it. Angry because they used money that didn't belong only to them. Angry because they expected me to stay quiet forever. Mom reached for my hand, trying to soften her voice. "We didn't think you'd take it this far." Those words said everything. They weren't sorry for what they did. They were sorry I found out. I let go of her hand and told them my decision. No more doing everyone's chores. No more sacrificing my needs. No more being the invisible child who understands everything. I told them I had already talked to a relative about the account, and steps were being taken to protect my share. They looked stunned, as if the balance of power in the house had shifted overnight. For the first time they actually listened. After that day everything changed. I started seeing my family differently, not with hatred but with clarity. I realized that no one owes me love or attention, and that sometimes the people who should care the most are the ones who let you down. It hurt, but it also gave me strength. I focused on myself. I started planning my future the way I wanted, not the way they expected. I applied for a scholarship I had been dreaming about for years. I worked part-time to save money and make sure I could stand on my own. Every small step reminded me that I didn't need their approval to succeed. The vacation incident became a turning point. I stopped hiding my feelings. I stopped pretending everything was fine just to keep the peace. Boundaries became my shield and self-respect my weapon. My sister and parents slowly tried to fix things. They apologized in bits and pieces, though it never felt completely sincere. But I learned that I didn't need them to make me happy. I could build my own happiness one day at a time. And the best part? I felt free. Free from favoritism, free from being overlooked, free from the constant pressure to be perfect. That week, that one vacation had taken so much from me. But it also gave me something priceless. Clarity, independence, and a sense of self-worth. And I realized finally, I wasn't angry because they left me behind. I was angry because they never planned to take me along. But that day I chose myself, and nothing could take that away. First time they were afraid to lose me. After that week everything changed. I started focusing on myself, my goals, my future, my happiness. I became self-reliant, confident, and stronger than ever. I learned that respecting myself mattered more than seeking approval from anyone else. My family slowly tried to make amends, offering apologies and small gestures, but I stayed careful, protecting my heart. I no longer let favoritism or past hurt control me. I understood my worth and made choices for me, not them. I wasn't angry because they left me behind. I was angry because they never planned to take me along. But that day I finally chose myself. That vacation wasn't just a trip. They chose my sister over me, and it hurt deeply. But it also taught me a powerful lesson. My worth isn't defined by anyone else. Gifts, attention, favoritism, they don't measure who I am. What matters is how I stand up for myself, set boundaries, and protect what's mine. Choosing myself was the turning point. I stopped hiding, stopped being invisible, and started living on my own terms. Sometimes, those who hurt you the most teach you the biggest lessons. And the moment they leave you behind is the moment you truly step forward.